projected out is nothing but a reflection of what we really are. Follow?
Yes.
And we are lost. We have got ourselves lost in our falsehood
Yes.
because of because of the evolutionary periods that we have gone through, you see, right from the very beginning. So then we have got ourselves lost into thinking or into associating ourselves with false all the time.
But then, when we drop the body,
Yes.
where does the spirit reside?
Spirit doesn't go anywhere.
It's just
It's there.
It's there all the time.
The thing is that what happens, Mother, Baba has said, he gave a very simple example of it. You see, you know flashlight? You put it on. You put it on the wall here.
yes,
Naturally the light is focused here, isn't it?
yes,
And you see there.
yes,
Eruch sees through this light
Yes.
what is there right in the center of the wall.
yes,
So he goes on seeing, and suppose if it is enticing, he goes on staring at it. Then what happens is that Eruch gets tired of it. You see, he has seen it, he has learned it, he has experienced what it is all this, and he changes the focus. That is death. You see,
yes.
that where the body drops, consciousness has changed the focus. Soul is never born, never dies, nothing. But it's the consciousness of the soul. The focus is changed, you see. And it's changed now to what I had done in the past and what I was and all that sort of thing. This led it to make him to think about what had passed, you see. And that's how he gets himself engrossed in that, you know, seeing his own film of life. You see, and when he has finished that, then he again, the focus is changed on something which is more sublime, and he is more enticed to that, and that is the birth. That's how it is.
That is the explanation,
Yeah.
and that they're always with us.
It is always with us. Because the mind, there is no such thing as reincarnation, Mummy. Baba says.
There isn't.
There
That's
isn't.
something. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and then what happens is, and yet there is reincarnation.
Yes, I was good. Yes.
What is this? Baba says, there is no such thing as compromise, but both are right. The Vedantists clamor that there is nothing but reincarnation, that we gain experience and we proceed further and progress towards reality through reincarnation. And yet the Muslims assert that there is no reincarnation. The Zoroastrians assert that there is no reincarnation. You see, what is this? Christianity asserts that there is no reincarnation. What is this? Baba says it's so simple, so very simple. You are not what you are, this bone and flesh and all that.
No.
You are what your mind is.
Yes, I
You see
realize that. Yes, I
So it
realize
is
that.
mind is born once and mind dies once.
Yes.
And in that sense there is no reincarnation.
I understand that. I
You
see
follow?
that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now this very mind, you see what happens, mind plays a lot of tricks. So when you go to sound sleep in your daily life, you wake up in the same body.
Yes.
And there is a stage when mind goes into a deeper sleep and wakes up in a different body. And that is known as reincarnation. That's all. But the mind is just the same. There's no reincarnation, really speaking. He carries on the same old thing.
That's it. Well, I sort of felt that, but wanted it explained, wanted it clarified. You know.
Yeah. It's like
That's
that.
good. It helps you to. It helps you to live. It gives you what can I say?
Now,
A sort of. I can't explain the word.
a meaning to life, you mean.
That's right. That's right.
What has happened is in Christianity and other things, they have inculcated, all this developed after the ancient one drops his body. As we were speaking yesterday, you were here about mysticism of
That
Tamil
is
Baba.
right, yes.
It is nothing that he says the same old thing again and again in different words.
Yes, that's right.
He uses different words, he uses different forms to make his love tangible to us and all that. But it's the same ancient one. And if the message of truth were to be quite different, then it won't be truth.
No.
Truth is one and the same thing. But he has to say it in different words according to the level of cosmic consciousness of the time. So what has happened is that he comes time and again and tells the same old thing. And now this time, what has happened? Then after he passes away, then man begins to assemble all things that he has said, and then tries to assert that he said this, and that there are different groups that are there. No, he said this. No, he says you said. He said this. I know it for certain, and all that. And so it goes on. And out of all this jumble, mankind sits together and create a religion named after him, you see, and therefore that religion is. So in most of these religions that have been already established, of the advents that have passed, and they have inculcated fear in the heart of men. So unless and until the fear is there, really speaking, we have to love God and not fear God, Baba says. But then what happens, man is such an animal that unless and until it is properly checked, it goes on frisking about. So fear has to be there. So therefore the elders of the time, whosoever established these religions and all that, they say it's best to inculcate or inject them with fear, of hell and grace of heaven and all that. So if they keep themselves straight, even keel, then well, they are heading towards heaven. And if they go astray and all that, they are sure to go to hell and so forth. So that's how they kept the balance of man's life. But no, heaven and hell are with you.
That's right.
You live hell, you live heaven. That's all. It's nothing but a state of your own experience. So and this time Baba then tries to reveal to us in a better way and says that have no fear for hell and do not delight in heaven, just love God. This time he has come and blessed us with the gift of the knowledge or awareness that all what we have to do is to love him sincerely, wholeheartedly, with any strings attached. That's how it is. And heaven and hell will follow it in its course. Instead of you're falling into that. So that's how it is.
So simple.
Yeah. So simple. Why? Because he knows and therefore he can say it. But he can tell to us in the most simple words. That's what happened at the time of Ramakrishna Paramahansa. You have heard the name of Ramakrishna?
Yes.
He was most illiterate person at the time of his time. Absolutely, he had nothing, no knowledge, about worldly things or this or that or anything of that sort, or any literature or anything. But yet, when he was confronted with all sorts of questions and all that, he could answer in the most lucid form, you see, and that would stump the brilliant intellectuals like Vivekananda and all that. So one day Vivekananda got so upset with his own simplicity that he just put his foot down and says, tell us, from where do you get this? You haven't read all these things, you haven't heard anything of that sort, from where did you get this? Tell us that, what is the secret behind it? So he said, well, there is no secret whatsoever. Is it very difficult for a person when he sees a thing right before him to describe what he sees? Any illiterate person can do that. And I am that. I just see it, I experience it, and I just give out what I experience. So there's nothing big about it.
No.
You will experience it, you will say all things. So that's what it is. The difference between book reading and gathering through the words of others, and for the one who is a man of experience, he sees, he knows. But then there is a world of difference between one who knows and one who becomes that.
Well, would that mean? Would that be the purity of the soul that could grasp those meanings more easily than the grosser?
Of course.
This
The
is
more,
it, isn't it?
yeah.
That is right.
The more, what do you call, the soul is polished and made clean, it reflects the truth all the more. it is able to gather all the rays of truth.
Yeah, well, that is why Ramakrishna
Could
see and yes. And then it's very, very hard to reach that state, isn't it?
You say it very hard, but man is destined one day to reach that state. All.
Yes.
It's your birthright. And even if you do not want it, when the time comes, you are graced with that.
Yes.
What can you do? You can't help it. Yeah. Yes, brother. Who are you? Our dear Lucy, mummy, is what she was saying about the various things, you see, of death and after death and all that. So then the topic came about reincarnations. And you know, the very mention of reincarnation, what is it? Oh, the noise is there, you mean to say. Evan, you believe in reincarnation?
Yes, I do.
And you?
I'm not sure about
Yeah, that's right. Nobody is sure about it, you know. That's what it is. That's what Baba says, you see. There are people who have firm belief in reincarnation, just as the Vedantists, Hinduism, Buddhism and all that. And there is Christianity. There is Zoroastrianism, you see. There is this Islamic faith. They don't at all believe in reincarnation. How is it possible to have reincarnation? You see? There's just this state. You live when you die. And you deserve hell or heaven. That's all. So, time and again, Baba would want us to know. Pardon?
No, I was just asking a question.
So time and again, Baba would draw our attention to the fact that there is no reincarnation. No reincarnation. And at the same time, it is absurd to say that there is no reincarnation. How could that be? Is it a compromise that Baba is trying to reach? Baba says, no. There is reincarnation and there is no reincarnation simultaneously. And he gave a very lucid explanation to it. He says that you take it for granted that you are this. Eruch takes it for granted that this is Eruch with two hands and one tongue that speaks out and the eyes and all. This whole thing, whole frame is Eruch, isn't it? And very rarely Eruch begins to think deeper and comes to the conclusion that no, I think there is something, because when my hand is cut off, I still am Eruch. Even if my both hands were to be cut off, I still am Eruch. Then what is it? If my both legs are cut off, I am still Eruch with just a torso. So what is this? I am Eruch as this, or Eruch, what is that Eruch? So that Eruch is nothing but the mind that is there, you see, that makes one aware of it. Beyond mind there is the reality. But for this world of illusion, Eruch can reach as far as that it's mind that is there. So what Baba tells us, that what you are now is because of what the mind is. So when mind is born once and mind dies once, and that's where everything ends, when the mind dies, you see. Mind is born and you are there. And when mind dies, you are no more. You are merged with reality. And as such, there is no reincarnation. And yet there is reincarnation. And that is, mind takes different forms. So Baba says, just as a man sleeps in deep sleep and wakes up, he wakes up in the same form, isn't it? If you go to sleep tonight, if you wake up tomorrow morning, Ivan will be the same thing, Ivan will be the same person, isn't it? He'll be able to recognize himself and all that. The mind has associated with Ivan, and so, yeah, I am Ivan. But there is a condition of mind which goes to sleep and wakes up in a different form. And because of that condition of the mind, which plays a dual role, sometimes mind sleeps and wakes up in the same form that it has associated with, and sometimes the mind sleeps and wakes up with a different form, and that is birth, and that is reincarnation. But really speaking, what happens is, intrinsically there is no reincarnation. Mind is born once, and mind dies once. And in between that the mind takes the forms are the different stages of experiences for the mind. So that's what we were speaking about today, before you all arrived. Yes?
I was told that in the Christian church, before the Council of Constantinople in 300, that they used to believe in reincarnation, and they decided to suppress the belief because people were taking life too easy, they said.
Yeah, then we came to the subject about inculcating fear and so forth. So, yeah, that also we discussed. So many things we said in no time. Yeah. It is right. But at that time also, the Ancient One must have come and told them the same thing again. Maybe in different words, in different language, but the same truth must have been revealed to them. And therefore they believed in that form, that stage of mind where it used to take different forms, you see. That's how they considered that there is reincarnation. But really speaking, mind itself cannot brook of reincarnating. It is just the same mind. Throughout the process of so-called reincarnation is the same mind. Same mind. Mind never dies. Mind is born once and mind dies once. In between are the stages of many sleeps and awake stages. That's all. Of the mind.
Dies when you finally become...
You annihilate the mind, and it's mind that is the barrier. It is the mind that establishes duality. So when mind dies, when mind is annihilated, then you transcend illusion and you become one with reality. You become infinite. It is mind that makes you continuously feel finite as you are now.
Baba say anything about the mind choosing the body that it, or the situation that it reassumes?
It depends upon the impressions that the mind has gained during this time eon. Now the impressions are there. Mind is gaining mind is nothing but the repository of impressions. So the predominant impressions at the time when your body passes away, and when the mind, means when your body falls, right, and when your mind continues to harp upon the impressions that are left behind, and whatever the residual impressions are there eventually, so there, that gives the form. So your form is nothing but impressions having consolidated. Now, he has mentioned in God Speaks about it all. If we enter into that, oh God, so many people will fall asleep and I will start yawning myself.
Speaking of reincarnations, the French people were saying that you had told them that between Muhammad and Baba's time, there were lesser incarnations of the God-man.
Yeah, really speaking, Doc, we'd never speak of Baba's reincarnations.
Yes.
They are always termed as advents. You follow?
Yes.
Reincarnations are there when the mind continues to strive for annihilation. It is the mind that comes in the way, it is the mind that prompts itself to get annihilated. So, with Baba, it is not proper for us to use the word reincarnation. You follow?
Yes.
Because he doesn't get reincarnated.
Gotcha.
He just gets, he manifests. So, yes, the Frenchies did ask this question, why it's wrong to call Frenchies? Yeah. All are French. But somehow or other, I feel that there must be some little suffix to be added to French. French people. Frenchies is it's good.
Acceptable.
Yeah,
They may hit you, but it's acceptable.
really they hate for being called Frenchies. Oh, I didn't know that.
Only if it's intended with malice, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
So they had brought about this subject, and I told them what I had gathered about it. When God speaks, Baba gave us the book called God Speaks. Have you seen that book?
Yes.
Have you seen that book called God Speaks? No. There is a thing that see that chart that gives you the gist of God Speaks. Yeah, that's the thing. So when Baba gave us the book called God Speaks, and we were Patricia, after some time, will you please see me? Yeah. Wait just a minute.
I heard that he sat actually and went through the whole thing, word by word.
Didn't you say last year that the most important part of God Speaks is the conclusion itself?
To me, of course, that didn't mean that it is for the
You
world.
felt, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
That's what Baba tells us. Yeah. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
How are you feeling today?
Oh, fine. I got back all right.
Has Diana come?
Yes.
She wondered where you had gone.
She was occupied. I don't know, something she with mail when I left.
You delivered the cycle.
Yep.
No stress or strain or anything of the
She was
sudden.
very steady. 55 minutes.
Good. You all are leaving today? What time?
We wait until the evening. We go back in the bus. this
Oh,
evening.
that's good. That's
All
good.
day.
Yeah. So when God Speaks was published and all that, and we thought that Baba himself used to bring home to us now what has to be said has been said in God Speaks. Anybody would come up with a question, he'd say, "Oh, don't give me a headache. Go and read God Speaks." You see, that's how it was. So we thought that it was the ultimate. Yes, whatever he had to say, he has said it in the book. After a year or two, he brought up some subjects like this. Well, although so many things have been said about the perfection over there, and you have noticed that there is a word called perfection, and then what else is there? Most perfect, most perfect, and all that sort of thing. So in spite of it all, he says, although this perfection has been attributed to the perfect masters and all that, and varied degrees of perfection are described, yet it will take another God Speaks for humanity to at least come to be aware, become aware of what the status of the perfect master is, let alone knowing perfect master, just what's the status of perfect master. So we were surprised. He says, well, after 700 years I'll give another God Speaks. You see, another volume of God Speaks. So, well, that we could gulp and all that. Then he had explained in God Speaks about the advent, about the avatarhood, the descent of God. Means God, the reality in the realm of illusion. And he described it, and it appealed to the understanding of human mind and all that. And then he comes up with this, that in between the advents, there are also called the minor advents. That's how he said. And before this advent of Meher Baba, and in between Meher Baba and Muhammad, there were 3 minor advents. That's what he said. I was Shivaji, I was a sweetmeat seller. Sweetmeats?
Yes.
Sweets?
Candy.
Not candies, but you make cookies, sweet cookies, yes. And then, and third was a recluse on the border of India and Burma, between India and Burma.
Did he give the names of the
No, he didn't give, but he just broad hints that I was 3 times I had to take minor advents. And the difference between minor advents and the advent, he then tried to tell, the advent takes place. It is precipitated by the 5 perfect masters of the time. They invite him They spread a sort of a red carpet all throughout and said, please do come in our midst and be with us and all that. And minor advents is voluntary. Whenever I think like that, it's meant for the cross section of humanity, or for a group of families, or for even one individual or a family, individual family. I manifest myself. That's what he said.
And what is the work of the minor Adventist, we'll say?
Same work. The one is done on a universal scale at the time of the Advent, and at the time of minor Advents it's done for the particular environment.
And does the person go through the same stages that Baba went through, awakening and so forth?
Yeah. No. At the time when he comes there for as a minor Advent, it has nothing to do with the Advent at the time, you see.
Yes.
So he has that infinite knowledge, he has that infinite bliss, he has that infinite power and everything, but it's all in abeyance. And he manifests himself as just an ordinary human being, as here he manifests there, you see. But at the same time you could see the sparks of his infinite knowledge, infinite power every now and then in the Advent. But at that time there would be the faculties, that will be the not the attributes but the qualities of the attributes will be manifested, just like bravery, or just like instead of infinite compassion there will be mercy, there will be kindnesses, there will be philanthropy, you see, and so forth.
As Shivaji, it wasn't too ordinary. I mean, wasn't he well known?
Yeah, he was a very well-known
He wasn't
leader. He was a
too
leader.
Undercover.
Yeah, but he was not a
But not
master
known as-
and all that. It
yeah.
was, yeah, he was just, it was undercover. It was undercover. You see, it's just like this, and it's all playing of the part on the stage, you follow? So at that time he was Shivaji, and naturally the makeup is so great that it's impossible for anybody to have that revelation that he is more than Shivaji. What is this? Why did they... You can open that door. I think somebody shut the door and they think that they are not supposed to come.
Tukaram was his
Master.
master?
Yeah, Tukaram was his master.
Did he unveil it?
No, they would never permit that. Tukaram and Ramdas, who were there, being perfect master, all knowing, they must have had that knowledge of who he is and so on. And also the knowledge that he has come for a certain purpose. That purpose has to be attained. You see. And in order that that purpose be served, naturally it is paramount that his identity is not to be revealed. Yeah, we had that talk about the three minor advents.
I think it's very interesting because Baba doesn't mention very much about. I never.
No, he doesn't mention. He casually he made a mention of it and all that. As such, Baba said, of course we went on into greater details about these minor advents, but I told you in a nutshell. As such, Baba says, there is not a time when I am not on this earth without a human form. See, it is there. Not a time when I am not on earth without a human form.
What does that mean?
Means he is all the time with us. God is omnipresent, isn't it?
Yes.
But that's a different thing. But then under one pretext or another pretext, trying to manifest for a certain person or a family or cross-section of humanity or anything, he is present somewhere. He is there.
At all times?
Yeah, at all times.
You mean at some point, at some...
Yeah.
You mean even right now?
Right now, yeah.
You heard the bell.
Yeah.
But isn't he here right now? Every time?
Somewhere.
But
He
you
is
mean
right. But not human form. Here. His omnipresence is there. But there is something called not a time when I am not with you all in human form. Means in the world, on this earth, planet Earth.
He's in the flesh somewhere now.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, now this is incredible. I never heard any of this.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
But not with the
So
role.
he says that is all different, but that is quite different my manifesting for somebody, you see, whose love has intensified to a degree where I cannot stand back and just allow the devotion of my lover to pour out and not manifest myself to receive it, you see. So it becomes incumbent on me to manifest. So that's how it is. It becomes incumbent on me to serve somewhere, to somebody, in some family. It becomes incumbent upon me to become a companion of somebody without the knowledge of the family and everybody. I am there without knowledge, without anybody being aware of it. It is the love, the intensity of the love that makes me manifest. It is their love that makes me manifest. That's what they said, what he said.
So he's always here, but the role of avatar is only
Yeah, the role of avatar, the descent of godhood and all that, that's a different thing when on a larger scale it is.
In other words, there's the 5 perfect masters at that time, they really got control, they run everything. But,
Yeah.
But the avatar takes the form of a human being for some particular reason to help
Yeah,
some family.
yeah. To be of help, to give company, to comfort somebody, to do this and do that and all that sort of thing. It's always there. One, and somehow or the other, he is there, you see. So don't you take that I am not here on the earth. And that's the reason why he gave a good figure out of it, you see. So, all right, we'll say that also again. What happened is that he, at the time, there was a, you know those fan regulators are there? You regulate the speed of the fan, ceiling fan. I don't think so. Now you all are aware of it. Have you all ceiling fans or any fans there? And you still have, in spite of the air conditioning. Oh, that's good. So what happens is that these regulators are there. So when the fan is put on the high speed, highest speed that is there, whatever you call, say speed 7, which is the highest, the fan is moving fastest at the time, you see, because it is there on speed 7. There was a regulator there in the room when he was giving this example. So he tells me what the fan is on the highest speed. So that is the advent. That's where I am now. When the advent is precipitated by the 5 perfect masters. All right. Then make it slow. So then the fan continues to move. Naturally, if you were to make it to 6 or 5 or 4, does it stop? Does it ever stop? No, it continues, but it turns slower and slower. Gives, instead of that feeling of breeze that is there, it just keeps the room very mildly cool. So it is there. So these are my minor advents, he said. You follow? When the speeds are less and less. But the fan is moving there. Now put it off.
And he's never a perfect master at that time. He's really...
No. Yeah. He comes as man amongst men, always. You see, it's the descent of God as man amongst men. So what happens is, then he says, he told me to put it off. Put the switch, regulator on off. It is there. There is a thing called off there. At that time there is neither minor advent nor major advent. But Baba says, what do you think? The fan has stopped? No, the blades are going and giving out breeze, you see. Before the fan blades become stationary, Baba says, put it on. Any speed there. So again put it on. So fan never, means the fan has, the blades have not become stationary at any point here. So that's what my presence is, you see. That's what he said to us. And again the full speed is there, or the minor advents are there, depending upon the circumstances and situations. But I am always there. That's what he said.
So he is never aloof from his creation.
No.
No time.
He is most intimately concerned about each one of us. Not concerned, but intimately concerned. We can make him happy, we can make him sad, we can make him angry, we can make him magnanimous and happy and so forth. He's intimately connected with us.
What is the, when he, let's say he leaves his body, drops his body, what is the cohesive thing that holds his individual consciousness together? Or holds it separate from the whole?
But I can't follow what you said. When he drops his body, then what happens?
Well, yeah, I don't really understand how it's the same, I don't know what the word is, the same identity of reincarnated Muhammad and Meher Baba.
Same personality?
I mean, there is no mind. What?
Who says there is no mind? There is the universal mind that is there with him. Universal body is there. Universal energy is there. Our mind are drop minds. As he said about him being the ocean of reality, and we are the drops in the ocean of reality. Each one is a sort of a drop. He gives us a figure about it. So the drop oceans are, each one of us is a drop in the ocean. But apart from being a drop, we of our impressions have created a sort of a bubble over the drop. And we can identify ourselves as bubbles instead of drops in the ocean. When the bubble bursts, there is neither the drop nor the bubble, so the drop that was there is the ocean itself. It's like that. So when the ocean, means the reality itself, takes form, it is given form. It doesn't take form. So what has happened? But it needs impressions to take form, isn't it? Without impressions, how can it take form? So what happens is that that's also we discussed that time with the group. So it was at the time of Muhammad, Baba said that you see me as Muhammad. So I am there. While I am Muhammad because at the time of Jesus I had incurred those impressions and have taken the form of Muhammad, have been given the form of Muhammad. And as Muhammad, I am working for the ministry as Meher Baba. So whatever you see me now as Meher Baba, it was all filmed at the time. It's as Meher Baba, it is being projected now. But it was filmed at the time when I was Muhammad, in short. Now that you see me as Meher Baba, it's being filmed for the next advent, and you'll see the projection there. And these impressions are called Yuga Yug Sanskaras, you see. They on their own, they generate these impressions depending upon the time and circumstances, the situations, prevailing situations that they would want to. And what happens is this, that about their form, that's the reason why it is said, it is the five perfect masters that precipitate the advent. So what is this advent? Is nothing but reality, the descent of reality into illusion.
Are there always five perfect masters?
Yeah, always five perfect masters. Now descent of we say it, we throw out these words, but do we ever realize what we are saying it? We say it because we have heard it from Meher Baba. He has revealed it to us. But what he has also revealed us, that when reality descends into illusion, illusion stands no chance to be. Because illusion is like darkness. Illusion is ignorance, total ignorance. Reality is like the brilliance of all the stars and all the galaxies put together. That's reality. Much more than that. It's the effulgence that is there. So, on one side is the total brilliance, the totality of all brilliances put together, and much more. And on the other side is the totality of all darkness put together, and much more. That is illusion. Now, if reality were to descend into, means total light were to descend into total darkness, what will happen to darkness? It will be shattered. Darkness cannot stand this. So there won't be any darkness there. So this is what it means by reality descending into illusion. It's not descending means step by step, coming down or anything else. There's nothing but to come down or anything. It's manifested there, you see. But what is needed is that illusion has to be sustained, has to be maintained. So how is it to be maintained? How could it be maintained when total reality is descending into total illusion, total darkness, total knowledge descending into total ignorance, and ignorance has to be maintained. If there is total there is no ignorance, then descent of knowledge is there. So what is this purpose of descending? There is no descent at all. So there must be somewhere, means lowering itself down, stooping itself so low into the domain of ignorance. So what happens is, in order to sustain ignorance, in order to sustain the darkness, sustain illusion, reality has to come in the midst. So what is the five perfect masters, when it is said that the precipitate is, that they forms around the reality a sort of a veil, a shroud. They weave a shroud out of that. And what is that shroud? It's the human form they give according to the need of the time. And that's how we recognize, oh, he is Jesus the Christ of the time. Oh, he is Muhammad of the time. He is Meher Baba. So this is how he is given, reality is shrouded. And that's how illusion is maintained and sustained. And he comes in our midst and he is totally ignorant about it all, appears to us. But it is the shroud that maintains that ignorance for our sake. You follow? But reality in it is quite different. It's aware. There is reality in us also. But it is so shrouded, it is because of the mind that is there. The drop mind, it hasn't got the illumination yet. It's not aware, it has not that knowledge there. But he has infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite bliss and all there. They are all in abeyance there. And he has been just cloaked into this form, and he comes in our midst, and he is one of us. He becomes one of us. And that's why there is the rapport between mankind and the Ancient One. And we go closer and closer to him. And that's how the unapproachable is made approachable. The inconceivable is made conceivable. Because of that shroud, you see. That's why his infinite love becomes more tangible. His infinite mercies and charities and compassion are made more tangible to us. And that's why in our ignorance we are drawn to him. We are there. And we feel that he is one of us, so all the more we can come closer to him. But suppose if he were to manifest his omniscience, and say, as soon as you enter today, and if he is there and he looks at you, so you say, I am Baba, I am Avon. And suppose if he were to retort to you, no need to tell me, I know what you are. Yeah, I know what a scoundrel you are. I know what vulgarity is in you and all that. So I know you right from the very top of your head to the toe of your foot and all that. So it will put you off. You follow? Who would want to stand and...
I don't know who picked up that bottle outside your window, on the ledge outside your window, a yellow plastic bubble bottle. Bubbles, blowing bubbles.
Outside my window?
On the ledge.
I don't.
I left it for the children last night.
I don't.
Maybe
Last
they already
night.
came and got it.
I asked all about it. But now,
It was there in the morning also. The Barnum being measured.
Maybe the children picked it up.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
most
the
likely.
children picked it
They
up.
said no.
All right, you just see there on the earth itself, on the ground. It must have fallen there. So that's how it is. You see? So all the time, in each advent you find him in totality like man. So meek, so humble, so gentle, loving, kind, ignorant. The most sharpest and the best of his most favorite weapons is ignorance that he makes use of. Yeah, in order to hook ignorance to him, to reality, you see. And that attracts.
Using Maya to get rid of it.
Yeah. He uses Maya in order to get rid of it. Just as a thorn has to be taken out with a sharp thing. A thorn has to be removed by a thorn, by something like a needle or a pin or something like that. He doesn't want to cut your leg in order to remove the thorn. He wants it to be maintained. The leg must be there. You see, that's how it is.